What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. I am so excited for today's episode because I thought it'd be a really fun time to bring you guys along for a complete garden tour. It's been a long time since we've done a garden tour, and I think the last one we did was in late April. So a ton has changed. We've harvested a ton. We've gotten a ton out of the ground, and things have kind of changed. And so there's so much that I want to bring you guys along for. Now, the part of the garden that I think is most incredible this year has been the peppers. Now, every year we have a crop that kind of exceeds our expectations. And last year was our tomatoes. This year is our peppers. This year, our peppers are just blowing our minds. Check out how many peppers are on these plants. Oh my gosh. It's just insane. This is the holy moly, or the pasilla bajío. Now, coming over here, we have our bell peppers, and our bell peppers have started to get some sunburn. So I'm going to pick these and pull these in, or take these into the house. I'm going to pull them off the plant because the bright sun, you'll notice, they don't like being exposed to bright sun. They just do not. They don't fare very well. So. Still beautiful, absolutely gorgeous peppers. And a lot of people have this happen and they say, well, what's going on? What's wrong with my peppers? It just gets way too hot. Just gets way too hot and the sun gets too bright, and they suffer from sunburn. But absolutely enormous peppers. The pepperoncini has absolutely lost its mind. As you can see, the pepperoncinis here are just going crazy. Beautiful. We also have the Corno de Toro. Huge, absolutely huge. Lots more back here. And so these are doing just amazing. Our best pepper when it comes to jalapeno is over here. And this one right here, this right here is just, I mean, you can't make it up. And we're gonna have to have a harvest video because there's probably 30 jalapenos, maybe 40 on this plant alone. Just incredible. So yeah, doing really, really well. Our cucumbers on our cattle pedal trellis have done amazing. We've harvested about 12 nice sized cucumbers off these plants. They are kind of going through some stress. As you can see, there's definitely some heat stress happening on the leaves. They're definitely not loving life. And that's just caused from the high heat, high humidity. So we're gonna do our best to kind of keep these alive, and hopefully we're gonna get some cool weather, but they're doing very, very well. And I see another one back here that we can pick. Absolutely beautiful. Love it. We've been getting, like I said, cucumbers like this almost every single day. Now, as you'll start to see, like I talked about with in the beginning of this episode with our zucchinis, we are starting to see some signs of powdery mildew. We are getting some powdery mildew spores here, some good outbreaks, and that's just inevitable with this high heat and high humidity. So we're doing what we can to harvest from these plants. They are still producing. They're not doing great, but they are still producing. But as you can see, they're looking a little stressed and a little sparse, and the lower leaves are turning yellow. We do have a nice size zucchini here, nice size golden zucchini. Pull that off. Gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. So, you know, like I said, we're still getting stuff, but not at the rate that we were earlier. So I'm gonna kind of let these kind of fizzle out, produce what they can, and then I do have plans to replant. And because our season is nice and long, we have plenty of time to plant a fall harvest of zucchini. Now, I wanted to show you the tomatoes. We've had so many questions this year on how our tomatoes are doing, and because we got quite a late start to our year this year when it came to tomatoes. Our tomatoes did not go into the ground because our spring was so cold and so wet that our tomatoes did not go into the ground for we were about 3 weeks late. And so we had a lot of questions on how our tomatoes were doing. And let me just show you, because even though the plants are a little smaller than they would normally at this time of year, the fruit still just as incredible. Check this out, you guys. Oh my gosh. Look at that. This is the pineapple tomato. Absolutely colossal fruits. Coming over here, we have the Paul Robson. Beautiful trusses of fruits, just tons and tons of tomatoes. A little late to ripening, but we are starting to get some. Over here, this is the Marion tomato. Just colossal clusters of tomatoes. And over here we have Black Prince. Beautiful little petite clusters, but very consistent all the way up the plant. We have started to pick from these, and you'll notice the Black Prince does produce a nice sized slicing tomato. So we've been really enjoying from this. Coming over here, you've got another huge one. This is called Giant Belgium. Produces just monolithic tomatoes. Giant tomatoes. Another great producer. Coming over here, we have the this is known as the German or Russian or Ukrainian strawberry, I believe, or Russian strawberry. This is a new one that we're trying. Really love it. It's actually a member of the Oxheart family, but it's so pretty, so pretty. Over here, we've got a Kellogg's breakfast, not yet ripening up. Still producing tons and tons and tons of fruit though. And tomato bed number 2, as you can see, is more of the same. Just insane. Absolutely beautiful trusses of tomatoes. I mean, just look at that. You couldn't make that up any better in a perfect tomato world. That is what they should look like. Gorgeous trusses of tomatoes all the way up the plant. Over here, more of the same, just beautiful sets of tomatoes. We have a little bit of leaf curl just from how hot and how dry it's been, but like I said, does not affect the overall plant health at all. Coming over here, again, just incredible. These are the Rutgers tomatoes. Rutgers tomatoes are a nice uniform slicing tomato, just all around gorgeous, as you can see. And then this is one of my new favorite tomatoes of the year. This is called Quadro. Now Quadro produces just show-stopping trusses of tomatoes. We're talking huge trusses of massive proportions. Quadro is like my all-time favorite producer right now. Just incredible. I mean, just absolutely out of this world. All the way up. Plants are already topping out at around 8 feet, so that's a little bit above normal for this year. Usually right now our plants are right around 6.5 feet. So 8 feet is 8 feet's getting up there. Coming over here, here's the second Quadro tomato plant. As you can see, more of the same, 8 feet tall, trusses of tomatoes all the way down the plant. But as you get closer to the bottom, the trusses just get more and more insane. I mean, look at how long that truss of tomatoes is. Look at this, just look at that. Oh my goodness, you just can't make that up. Look how beautiful these are. Absolutely stunning. We also have the tropical sunset tomato. Love these tomatoes. Again, beautiful. Definitely a showstopper. Definitely a showstopper cherry tomato. The lettuce is starting to peter out. We're going to save some seeds from our lettuce because our lettuce did so well this year. So we let a few go to seed. We are going to pull out the rest and open this bed up here and plant some fall crops. So that's going to be happening in the next week or so. Our sunflower, our giant sunflower that started from seed, is just going crazy. As you can see, it's got many heads on it, starting to flower, but all down here, it's got sunflower heads, and it's becoming like a sunflower bush almost. So really loving this. It's just such a beautiful volunteer. The cilantro has gone to seed. We're letting this go to seed as well. We had some of our best yields from cilantro this year, so we decided to let them go to seed. They're almost ready to start harvesting, so We're gonna be picking seeds from these really soon. And then coming over here, we've got our kale and our cabbage. And these are just, oh my gosh, these are just incredible. The kale and cabbage have just taken over. We've been harvesting from them daily. The cabbage, they're almost ready to harvest. They're just starting to form their heads. So looking beautiful, nice tight purple heads of cabbage in there. Now our onion bed is actually looking a little worse for wear, most likely due to just how dry it's been. It has been so dry, and onions really don't like it to be that dry. And also, we've had a little bit of weed pressure this year, a little more than normal. And onions are difficult because they don't have big leaves to shade out the soil like all of our other crops. And so even though we planted them closely together, there's just still a lot of room for volunteers like these tomatoes to sprout and this purslane and things like that. So we've had a little bit more weed pressure than normal. I'm not super proud of the onions this year, but they are gonna, I mean, hey, they are gonna be beautiful. I mean, here's one that's ready to pull, and you can see, I mean, they're nice size onions, the ones that did size up, and I'm not complaining whatsoever about that. Our bush beans have been producing like crazy. We picked about a bushel so far of bush beans, and they are going through some heat stress. And so after the heat dies down, I imagine they're gonna put on a bunch more growth and a bunch more flowers. So they're kind of just in a dormancy state right now, waiting for the heat to drop. But as you can see, the bunching onions are just doing incredibly well. I talk about all the time how our bunching onions do so well because we plant them in groups. And as you can see, they're looking beautiful. Groups of 5 to 6 plants, each planting, they all mature up and they just kind of grow up, and you pick the whole bunch and wash them off and use them. Now our strawberry beds are gonna go through some pretty big changes in the coming weeks, and that's because we're actually gonna be pulling up all of the plants. I know we did have a bumper crop of strawberries this year, and I really don't know what to attribute that to, other than maybe dumb luck. But aside from that, we really need to clean up these beds. They're definitely getting unmanaged, way too overgrown. And so we're gonna pull up all these plants. We're gonna pick the healthiest probably 50 plants that we can find and divvy them up between these two beds. So 50 plants between two beds, we're going back to 25 plants in a bed, meaning that next year, we're not gonna have hardly any yield. Maybe we might not even have a harvest next year, but we are gonna have a lot more better plant health, which is then gonna set us up for success in the future. So we are gonna be pulling all these plants out and maybe moving some up to our cottage garden, to my parents' cottage garden, because I really don't have a need for this many plants here. And also, like I said, the plants are getting really just unhealthy and unmanaged because they've gone so rogue. So I'm also gonna take the time and the opportunity to top off the raised beds because they're only about half full of soil. And so that's gonna be another really good opportunity to just kind of take care of the soil, be a good steward of the garden, and just make sure that things are looking tidy and producing for the future. Because you might get a great harvest this year, but next year, if things kind of keep this trend, I think we might be doing ourselves a disservice. So it's always smart to know kind of when to step in and take action. I think this year is the year. Coming over here, check this out. Look at that, huh? That is beautiful. Downright beautiful right there. That's an unexpected surprise. Last but not least is the carrot bed. So we pulled out the lettuce here. That's going into the compost pile. And we're actually gonna be planting some more fall crops here. Probably some beets, a late fall harvest of beets. We do have our first planting of carrots. And as you can see, they're looking incredible. Absolutely beautiful. So these are the Scarlet Nance and the Giant Imperator. So planted a little closer together, but still getting some gorgeous carrots nonetheless. So there you go. There is a complete overview of the garden. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really do hope that you got some inspiration from this and was able to glean something from this episode. I know it was a little longer, but I did want to show you everything that's been going on so that I didn't leave anything out. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. As always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel reminding you to grow big or go home. And just a reminder that if you have not yet subscribed, make sure to do that because we are going to be uploading a lot more content now that the heat is kind of starting to die down. We're finding ourselves out in the garden a lot more, doing a lot more garden projects, and obviously that means we're bringing you guys along for more content. So remember to subscribe if you're not yet already, and we'll talk to you all later. All right, see you guys. Bye.